Welcome to Bills Nation Daily, your ultimate daily dose of everything Buffalo Bills. Hit that subscribe button and join the most passionate Bills fans as we break down all the latest news, highlights, and game analysis. Go Bills! The NFL world just exploded with a rumor that's shaking every locker room and sports bar conversation in America. John Harbaugh. Yes, that John Harbaugh, the longtime Baltimore Ravens head coach, is reportedly on his way to take over the Buffalo Bills. This isn't some throwaway headline or social media clickbait. Insiders close to both organizations are hinting that something major has gone down behind the scenes. The Ravens, a franchise built on discipline, identity, and defense-first football, have allegedly parted ways with the man who helped shape their modern era. And now, the Bills, a team that's been teetering between contender and disappointment for years, might just be pulling off one of the boldest coaching moves of the decade. Imagine it. Harbaugh trading the black and purple for the blue and red, stepping into a locker room led by Josh Allen, trying to channel that same fiery leadership that once brought Baltimore a Super Bowl ring. Fans in Buffalo are already buzzing, debating whether this could be the missing piece to finally push the team over the hump. Meanwhile, Baltimore fans are left scratching their heads, wondering how they let a proven winner walk away, just as the AFC keeps getting tougher by the week. Sources close to the Ravens organization describe the breakup as inevitable, the result of building tensions that have been simmering for over a year. Apparently, front office disagreements, locker room friction, and Harbaugh's relentless push for more defensive autonomy created a perfect storm. He's old school to the core, the type of coach who values grit over glamour. And in an NFL that's become increasingly dominated by analytics, flashy offenses, and quarterback worship, maybe Baltimore felt it was time for a new direction. Still, this feels like a shockwave. Harbaugh wasn't just a coach. He was the Ravens' identity. His fingerprints were all over that team's DNA, from the tough-as-nails defense to the no-nonsense culture. The idea that he's now leaving the team he's molded for over a decade feels surreal. Yet, the Bills, sitting on one of the most talented rosters in football, but struggling to find consistent playoff success, might see this as the perfect opportunity. A defensive mastermind with a proven playoff pedigree could be exactly what Buffalo needs to balance their high-powered offense. If this rumor holds any weight, we might be looking at a complete cultural reboot up north. In Buffalo, whispers are turning into roars. The city's sports talk shows have been flooded with callers reacting to the supposed Harbaugh hire. Some are ecstatic, saying this is the leadership upgrade they've been waiting for. Others are skeptical, worrying that Harbaugh's old-school approach might clash with Josh Allen's freewheeling, improvisational style. But one thing's for sure, nobody's indifferent. Harbaugh's reputation precedes him, a motivator, a tactician, and a man who commands respect in the locker room. For the Bills' front office, who have watched their team stumble in big moments despite immense talent, this move screams desperation wrapped in ambition. They're betting that Harbaugh's defensive philosophy and championship experience can turn Buffalo from a what-if team into a juggernaut. The challenge? Balancing egos, expectations, and perhaps the biggest one, reviving a franchise that's grown accustomed to heartbreak. If Harbaugh really is walking into Orchard Park, he'll be facing immense pressure from day one, because this isn't just another coaching job. It's a resurrection mission. Behind closed doors, the rumor is that Harbaugh has been eyeing a fresh start for months. After years of grinding in Baltimore, dealing with injuries, rebuilding phases, and the constant pressure of competing in the brutal AFC North, the idea of a new challenge may have appealed to him more than anyone realized. Buffalo, with its passionate fan base, snowy home games, and old-school football energy, feels like the perfect fit for his mentality. He's the kind of coach who thrives on adversity, who loves turning doubters into believers. And let's face it, the Bills are desperate for that kind of leadership. Their defense, once one of the league's most feared units, has faltered in key moments. Harbaugh's arrival could bring a culture of accountability that's been missing. The idea of him transforming that locker room, demanding excellence, and igniting that fiery defensive pride again has fans dreaming of something bigger. Maybe this isn't just a coaching change. Maybe it's the start of a new era in Buffalo, one that could rewrite the franchise's legacy once and for all. Meanwhile, over in Baltimore, the fallout has been brutal. Players are reportedly shocked, some even emotional, after hearing that the man who led them through countless wars on the field might be gone. The Ravens have always been about continuity, loyalty, toughness, and unity. Losing Harbaugh feels like losing a piece of that identity. The question now is, what's next? Who takes over a franchise built so tightly around one man's vision? Some insiders suggest that internal friction with the front office and a desire to modernize the offense drove this split. Maybe the team wanted to lean further into the Lamar Jackson era, embracing a new coaching philosophy focused on offensive creativity rather than Harbaugh's defense-first mindset. But fans are asking, was it worth it? Because love him or hate him, Harbaugh wins. He's been a steady force through chaos, a motivator who could get the best out of anyone. If the Ravens' gamble backfires, this could go down as one of the most regrettable coaching separations in recent memory. For now, all we have are whispers, insider leaks, and the unmistakable scent of chaos that comes with major NFL shakeups. But let's be real, rumors like this don't spread unless there's some truth underneath. The timing, the sudden silence from both organizations, the lack of denial from key insiders, it all adds up. If Harbaugh is indeed heading to Buffalo, it would be one of the most shocking and impactful coaching moves in recent history. It's a story of endings and beginnings, of loyalty tested and ambition renewed. The Ravens might be stepping into an uncertain future, while the Bills could be taking their biggest swing yet. Harbaugh's presence alone could transform the energy of that team, reigniting a defensive fire that's been flickering for too long. But NFL fans know better than to celebrate too early, because where there's smoke, there's usually more drama waiting to unfold. As the dust begins to settle, the sports world can't stop talking about how seismic this rumored move could be. John Harbaugh, the man synonymous with Ravens football, reportedly meeting with Buffalo executives behind closed doors. It sounds like fiction, but every day more whispers emerge confirming what fans are already assuming. The deal might be real. In Buffalo, optimism is mixing with disbelief. The idea of pairing Harbaugh with Josh Allen has pundits spinning. Harbaugh's structure and discipline meshing with Allen's creativity could either create a masterpiece or a meltdown. But that's the thrill of it, right? That's what makes this rumor so electric. It's a gamble on chemistry, on leadership, and on the belief that toughness still wins championships. Bills fans are desperate for something, anything, to erase the sting of playoff heartbreaks, missed opportunities, and what feels like a ceiling they just can't break through. Harbaugh's potential arrival represents not just a coaching change, but a philosophical revolution. This could be Buffalo saying, "We're done playing nice. It's time to win ugly." Reports from insiders suggest the Bills' ownership wanted a gritty winner, someone who could bring back a bite to a team that's grown too predictable. Sean McDermott built something strong, no doubt, but maybe Buffalo's front office felt they needed someone with a bit more edge, more championship DNA. Enter Harbaugh, a man who eats pressure for breakfast and still believes football is about imposing your will. Imagine him walking into that locker room, shaking hands with veterans, and setting the tone from day one. The meetings, the speeches, the stare-downs, it's all part of his magic. Players respect his fire because it's real. For Buffalo, that could be transformative. Harbaugh doesn't just coach games, he builds cultures. If he truly takes over, expect a shift in attitude across every unit. Defense grinding harder, offense staying sharper, and special teams playing with that signature Harbaugh intensity. The Bills might finally find the identity they've been missing, not in flashy plays, but in grit and heart. Of course, not everyone's sold on the idea. Critics are quick to point out that Harbaugh's methods can wear players down over time. His intensity, while inspiring, has also led to friction with veterans and coordinators in the past. Some wonder if Buffalo's younger, more dynamic roster will respond well to that kind of old-school approach. After all, this isn't the 2012 Ravens anymore. This is a team built around a superstar quarterback, modern offensive schemes, and a fan base that expects fireworks. Harbaugh's style might clash with that at first. But then again, maybe that's exactly what the Bills need. someone to break the comfort zone, to push, to challenge, to remind everyone that winning championships isn't supposed to feel easy. If he brings even half of his Baltimore culture north, the league better take notice. Because a disciplined, defensively dominant Buffalo team with Josh Allen running the offense, that's a terrifying thought for the rest of the AFC. Meanwhile, Baltimore isn't just mourning, they're scrambling. Losing a coach like Harbaugh leaves a vacuum, not just on the sidelines, but in the soul of the organization. He was the glue, the stabilizer, the emotional heartbeat of the Ravens for over a decade. Whoever steps in next faces an impossible standard. The players, the staff, even the fans are processing a mix of confusion and disbelief. Some say it was time for a change, others call it betrayal. Either way, the Ravens are entering a new chapter without their general. Maybe they'll chase a younger, offensive-minded coach to fully maximize Lamar Jackson's prime. But the risk is enormous, because when you replace a legend, expectations don't reset, they explode. Every misstep will be compared to Harbaugh's years of consistency, every loss magnified by nostalgia for his leadership. It's not just a change of coach, it's a seismic shift in identity. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. For John Harbaugh, if this move becomes reality, it's also a redemption arc. A chance to prove he's still one of the NFL's elite, that his philosophy still wins in a league obsessed with innovation. Imagine him standing on the sideline in that icy Buffalo air, headset on, eyes locked in, rallying his team as snow falls around him. It fits his personality perfectly, gritty, unyielding, raw football. This is his element. He's not the kind of coach who fades quietly. He thrives on challenges. Taking over the Bills would be the ultimate one. A talented roster, a hungry fan base, and the expectation of immediate results. But if anyone can handle that heat, it's Harbaugh. This isn't about money or comfort. It's about legacy. And if he can take Buffalo where no coach has taken them in decades, to the Super Bowl, his legend will grow beyond Baltimore. It'll be reborn in Buffalo blue. At the end of the day, rumors like this remind us why we love football. It's not just the touchdowns or the stats. It's the drama, the emotion, the human stories behind every play and every decision. John Harbaugh possibly leaving the Ravens and joining the Bills feels like the perfect storm of narrative and chaos. A coaching saga filled with loyalty, ambition, and risk. Whether it's true or not, the idea alone has reignited conversation across the NFL. Fans are refreshing feeds, insiders are teasing scoops, and rival teams are quietly watching, wondering what this could mean for the balance of power in the AFC. Because if this happens, everything changes. Buffalo becomes a contender with teeth. Baltimore becomes a team in transition. And Harbaugh? He becomes the most talked-about coach in football once again. The man who never stopped believing that toughness still wins when the snow starts to fall. Finally, the ongoing speculation surrounding McDermott and Allen has crystallized into a story that transcends sport, becoming a case study in perception, rumor, and the complex interplay between leadership and talent. Whether the alleged statement is accurate, misinterpreted, or entirely fabricated, the conversation it has generated illustrates how a single comment can ripple through a fan base, media landscape, and even a team itself. The saga has now taken on a life of its own, with imagined confrontations, hypothetical trades, and speculative locker room dynamics, keeping the story alive in public consciousness. Analysts continue to dissect interactions. Fans continue to debate loyalties, and every public appearance is scrutinized through the lens of potential discord. This story is emblematic of the modern NFL, where rumor, perception, and media amplification converge to shape narratives as much as on-field performance. The McDermott-Allen saga, whether real or exaggerated, has turned the Buffalo Bills into a symbol of high-stakes tension, illustrating how fragile player-coach relationships can become lightning rods for speculation, analysis, and cultural conversation in the contemporary sports world. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.